We are following now the latest out of the Middle East. The IDF is now responding to accusations from the Hamas-run Ministry of Health that the IDF opened fire on hungry Palestinians that were waiting for food and aid in northern Gaza. A stampede erupted and reportedly killed over 100 civilians, injured hundreds more. But IDF officials are telling ABC News that crowds looted the aid trucks and approached the troops in a manner that they say posed a threat, and that those troops responded then with live fire. But Israeli officials also insisting its forces did not fire at people that were seeking aid. ABC News foreign correspondent Tom Soufi Burridge spoke to an IDF spokesperson about the incident today. Tom.
Yeah, Kenya, you can see in that IDF surveillance video the crowd surging around those aid trucks, a chaotic scene in an area where there's a desperate humanitarian need. Now, Israeli officials say potentially, as the crowd moved in to try and get that aid off the trucks, tens of people potentially were killed, run over by the trucks or in the crush. It is after that, at a checkpoint where the trucks had gone through, that an angry crowd, according to the IDF, moved towards its troops at the checkpoint. The IDF says its troops fired into the air and then at the crowd. Now, we can join in a spokesperson for the IDF, Peter Lerner. Peter, we're talking to you via Zoom because it's late here in Israel. Thanks for joining us. Thank you very much. Can you just clarify for us how many people were potentially killed by Israeli bullets at that checkpoint?
First of all, I think it's important to weigh on the dire situation and the cause of this operation. We are actually on day 4 of an operation to bring humanitarian aid into northern Gaza Strip, precisely to the people who are in despair, as you rightly pointed out. Indeed, the operation which we conducted this morning was met in a very unfortunate reality. As the trucks moved in, we found that a large amount of people were going on the trucks and looting them and trampling and crushing one another. And indeed, many of the people that were injured or wounded or even killed were as a result of the truck movement. Indeed,
and one of your colleagues, just to jump in, because we haven't got much time, so one of your colleagues has estimated that tens of people were killed potentially in the crush. Can you at least estimate how many people in that later incident were killed by Israeli fire?
We understand that a handful of people were injured, wounded, or perhaps killed in the warning shots that we fired towards the people that posed.
And were those people, can you clarify whether those people were armed that moved towards?
I can't clarify. The incident is still under investigation. I can't clarify it. What I do know is that the nature of the warfare in Gaza, where terrorists do not wear uniforms and approach our tanks and put explosive devices on them, there is a potential threat around that. So people should not be approaching our forces. When we realized that the situation was getting out of hand, the warning shots were fired and the tanks moved out carefully from that area.
We're getting multiple eyewitness accounts and people at the scene who said people simply went to get food in an area where there is a desperate humanitarian need, and they were shot dead.
This is the tragedy of this war, the reality where Hamas launched the war on 7th of October and put us in a situation where we are now fighting Hamas. The situation, the humanitarian situation, goes hand in hand with our operational effort. And that is precisely where just this morning we facilitated and coordinated an airdrop of humanitarian supplies, medical supplies, food supplies into northern Gaza Strip and into southern Gaza Strip. That is why the crossings and the checkpoints continue to be open from Rafah and from Kerem Shalom to create an ongoing flow of humanitarian supplies. There is a dire situation. We understand that, and this is precisely why we conduct...
And on that, very quickly, can you just give any reassurances how this type of incident can be prevented in the future? Because you need to get aid into northern Gaza, don't you?
Absolutely, and we will continue to operate in order to make sure that the flow of goods continues. We will learn our lessons from this incident and continue to work with the various international interlocutors, nation states. The food supplies that came in this morning were actually a donation from Egypt, and that is precisely, it needs to go in. The people need the supplies. We will continue to operate in order to alleviate the humanitarian situation on one hand and pursue Hamas on the other hand, bring back our hostages.
We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much, Peter Lerner, for joining us. Kana, an investigation ongoing. President Biden saying he has no doubt that this will have a negative impact, sadly, on those negotiations for, of course, a ceasefire in Gaza and to get the hostages out. Kana?
Certainly, we know the Biden administration is looking into that incident as well. Tom Soufi Burridge, our thanks to you for that.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.